Hi, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Layers of Healing. Thank you for tuning in again. And today, I really want to talk about a topic which affects me a lot in my daily life, and I think also some of you, according to my Instagram research. Have you ever felt not good enough, or you're not worthy of anything, or nobody sees the real you, and if they would run? If you've ever felt that way, there's a big chance that you grew up as a glass child. And I will tell you today what that means, what your siblings have to do with this, and what beliefs you maybe carry about yourself today and where they came from. If you're not familiar with this term, being a glass child means oftentimes you're growing up in a household where you have a sibling who needs more care from your parents due to mental or physical illnesses, or just they get more attention than you get, because oftentimes glass children, the parents tell them, oh, you were always the easy one. Oh, I never had to worry about you. So it was always your brother, it was always your sister. And that's like normally what you get told when you are the glass child. And the term is glass child because you're see through. You feel unseen, you feel like your needs aren't met, you're not deserving of the needs. And that's basically the term. But I really want to talk about this because it affected my life in such a huge way. And just as a disclaimer, like, I love my parents, they're just doing life the first time as well. And there were some troubles. Yeah, it was just life happened, and I'm not blaming anyone. And also, what I tell you is my truth. It doesn't have to be reality, but it's just how my brain saved some memories I have. Like, I'm not blaming anyone, I'm not blaming my sister. So yeah, just let's hop right in. I grew up in the northern part of Germany, and I have a sister. She's older than me, 2 years, and I love her dearly. And my sister had asthma growing up, so for her it was normal to do hospital hopping. So I remember that we've been in a lot of hospitals. My dad was working, and so he wasn't there that much, and my mom just had to take care of my sister and me. So we often went to the hospitals and centers, and everything was about my sister. And I don't blame her, like I said, but it's different for me as a second child, because in the early years, I also learned to take responsibility over her, and I was always alert. So when I played with her, I was always alert. I remember one memory when we were playing in the backyard, and out of nowhere she had like an asthma attack, and I was just freaking out, and I ran to my mom. I almost got run over by a car. And I ran to my mom. I was like, she having an asthma attack. Where's her ventilator? Is that the word? And I think I was like 5, 6. So I was always, when I was with her, I was also always alert on what's going on with her. So yeah, what was the result of this kind of childhood for me? It's I didn't get that much attention. And now some of you could be like, oh, don't be so rude. Your sister needed the attention. But it's not about trauma can also mean that you don't get enough of something. Like, you can have emotional trauma from, of course, things happening to you and emotional trauma happening to you, but you can also develop childhood trauma and emotional trauma when you don't get enough of it. So if you don't get enough love, if you don't get enough attention, you don't get enough of this, you also have childhood trauma, and you feel unseen. In the first episode, I also talked about the feeling of being forgotten, which is also merging into this experience in my childhood. I also told myself that I don't matter and my needs doesn't matter, and I have to put other people first. So that's what I learned from that. And that's what I carried with me into my adulthood, like putting everybody first. And I was such a people pleaser, and I was like, oh yeah, oh, you need something. Okay, let me do it for you. I'm getting out of my way. And it's a difference between, oh, I really want to be genuine and kind to you and do something for you, and the feeling of I need to do that for the other person, not because I want to do it, but I feel like it's my obligation to do it. These kind of things I feel like some people forget that also siblings shape you. To sum up, I grew up feeling unseen and forgotten, and I learned to take care of my sister, always look out for her. So I never really built my own identity as a child. I always was looking after her. What I mean by that, and maybe some people of you can relate, because that's something I figured out in therapy. I did everything my sister did. I talked about this with my mom last year about the situation growing up and all that stuff. And she was looking at me and she's like, yeah, always when you're like playing together, you were doing what she wants to do. She said she wants to play Playmobil, so you played Playmobil. My mom just said that she felt like, again, maybe not the reality, but she felt like I never had a space and never took up space with my sister and just always did what she does. So I felt responsible for her. And then I was like, okay, everything what she does is the right thing. Because going back, like I said, I never built my own identity as a child. So I took her identity as mine as well because I had no clue. I had no space to develop my own identity. I didn't feel safe. I felt like I don't matter. I felt like unseen. And I was like, okay, I think my sister gets so much attention from my parents. Maybe I should just do what my sister does so I get the attention I need to survive. Because a child is always having coping mechanisms to survive. So everything you do, maybe you also do today, and some beliefs you carry is because at some point in your childhood it served you to survive. Because as a child, you just want the attention from your parents, and without the attention of your parents, you would die, and you know it. Your brain knows it. So you're always craving for that attention. I was like, oh, I have to be more like my sister, and then I get the attention of my parents, because as a child, I don't understand that my sister has an illness, and that's the reason why she gets so much attention. I just see as a child, my sister gets attention. I don't have my needs met. So I have to do what she does. So my parents give me the attention. I'm safe and I survive. I noticed 3 years ago, I figured that out in my therapy session that until the age of 22, I did exactly what my sister did. My school was for people who were not that smart, and they put me in there. And my sister was put into the gymnasium for the people who are very smart, the smartest of the smartest. So in a lot of ways, my childhood really reflected to me that I'm not good enough, and I'm not good the way I am. After school, I was just like, oh, okay, what kind of things do I want to do? I want to go study. Do I want to go make an apprenticeship? And I decided I really wanted to go and do an apprenticeship. And I was looking like, what kind of apprenticeship do I want to do? So my sister, when she was graduating high school, she did an apprenticeship as an industrial clerk and worked there for like 3 years, and then she went studying. But in that point where I was looking for like, what apprenticeship do I want to do, I did the exact same thing. I was like, oh, I will do industrial clerk too. So me doing the apprenticeship as an industrial clerk as well, unconsciously, because I think what my sister does is the right thing. Also with 18, my identity. So at this point, I went through depression, I went through self-harm, I went through identity crisis, and I didn't know who I was or what I want to be or what I'm good at. I was just like, I don't know, what are other people doing? I should do the same thing. And then I saw my sister doing industrial clerk. I was like, what my sister does is the right thing. Where I developed the skill because I wanted the attention of my parents, as we remember. But it was just stuck with me until adulthood. After that, I was just like, okay, let me go study. I want to go study, and I wanted to study the same thing as my sister. But before I started, I went to therapy and was like, yeah, I'm doing everything my sister does because I think she is better than me. I thought she has everything figured out, and I was not. Again, my perception of the situation. Yeah, so I have a feeling a lot of people don't know how much siblings can really shape you. Like, it's not only your parents who shape you, it's also your siblings who shape you. I'm not blaming anybody, like I said, but for me, it was such eye-opening that I was like, oh, wow. Like, I never had space from my parents to develop. My sister never gave me space to develop. And I was just doing what she's doing because I wanted the love of my parents. Like, what? And I continued this behavior until I was aware of it into my adult years. And now I'm just, then the identity finding circle started for me. With 22, I started to think of like, who am I? What do I want? Who of a person am I? Like, what am I? What are my skills? And it's such a funny thing looking back because now I'm 26 and it's just, wow. A lot. But yeah, that's on glass children. And often when with glass children, there comes a lot. Like you don't feel seen from your parents, you feel forgotten, you feel like, okay, I don't really know who I am, and you're just striving for this attention all the time. And then you also start thriving for attention in others. Like, it's not only that you want the attention from your parents, but everyone you meet, you want them to give you love because you don't get the love from your family at that point. And then you're just so rooted for emotional dependencies, where everybody knows I went through for 5 years. Fun time. You become people pleasers, you become people who just seek attention from others in the hope that it fills the void which was built in childhood. So if you feel like you love loving attention is nothing, it's not wrong. We're human beings. We love attention. Without attention, we would die. So first of all, don't hate yourself for being a little bit attention seeking, and also be compassionate with yourself and think of, why do I need so much attention? And oftentimes it's because in childhood, you don't feel seen and you're just trying to fill this void nowadays from back then with people and just men. Or if you're a man with women and you want to, oh God, well, if I have the attention, then I'm worthy. If they choose me, I'm worthy. But in the end, what you really, really want, and what the inner child, so we're back to the inner child, what your inner child really wants, like the childhood you inside of you, wants the attention from your parents. And you're just trying to recreate that and fill this void, and seeking attention from people will never fill that void because you're not addressing the root cause. Because the root cause is a childhood. And yeah, that for me was eye-opening. I was like, whoa, I'm seeking attention from people around me because I never had the attention growing up. Seeking validation everywhere. And we're not only talking about hookup culture, we also talk about just craving love and craving to be chosen, because that's also a huge thing. We all want to be chosen. Everybody wants to be chosen. If you're listening to this right now and you're like, I don't want to be chosen. Yes, because it's human. It's human that you want to be chosen. And especially if you haven't had the feeling that anybody chose you to that point in your life. Because I realized, oh, I feel like no one ever chooses me. And I really want to be chosen. And then I'm okay. Like, if this random guy pops up and he chooses me, I validate myself that I'm okay. As we said in the beginning, I felt unseen. I want people to choose me. So I seek validation everywhere, except where it's needed from your parents. And the funny thing is, because in this whole process, you feel unworthy of their love and you're like, okay, I'm not good enough. So a big negative belief of mine was, I'm not seen, I'm forgettable, I'm not good enough, I'm not chosen, and I will never will be. So, but I always tried. So you have this inner belief, but at the same time, you're always trying to convince yourself that you are. What I mean by that is me going out in the world and seeing unavailable men, and I'm like, I want you, because he doesn't want me. That's obvious from the start. And I was just like, okay, I want you. And if I make you want me, that means I can also make my parents want me. You see? So I'm going for the emotionally unavailable men because I really want to be chosen by someone. And by someone, I mean my parents. And if I get you, man, if I get you to change your mind and want and choose me and feel like I'm worthy and I'm good enough, then for me, it's a validation that I'm able to do that with my parents too. So what we're basically doing in our adult life, if we have like coping mechanisms and go for unavailable people please, we always try to restore our family. The inner child always wants to restore their family because this is your root relationship. Growing up, you learned everything from your parents. You just want to restore that one and have a healthy childhood. So your inner child is striving for this healthy relationship with your parents and is trying to get validation from others that it's possible, but never going to your parents because you have no relationship with them, probably. Yeah, that was a huge thing for me. Like being a glass child brings so much. Like you just very fruitful for depression and very fruitful for episodes of sadness. You don't have to experience like huge traumas to be like, oh, I need help. I don't feel like I'm good. Also, sometimes it's just small things or not getting enough of things that you need healing. And you have to start giving these things yourself. And it's also easier said than done because what I did first, a lot of people message me and they're like, oh, Saskia, what do you do? Like, where do I start healing? I think the beginning is being aware of your trauma. So you have to be aware of your beliefs. You have to know about, okay, what do I believe of myself? And being brutally honest with you, then why do I believe that I am that person? And third is, okay, I know where it comes from. I know what situations were like triggering me or building me in that point. And then you can like work on it. Because then also you know it's not true. Because everything you believe, like I'm not lovable, I'm not good enough, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, I'm this, I'm that, whatever you believe, somebody made you feel that way at some point. And oftentimes it's your parents. Sometimes as children, we misinterpret words from our parents and then it shapes us. I remember one time when I was like 15, I had a huge thing with alcohol. I drank a lot. And I came home crying because I drank too much. And I used to cry every time when I drank too much alcohol, also because I have so much trauma stored up in me that it came out. But I cried a lot when I came home, and my mom was just like, what happened? And why are you crying? And I couldn't stop crying. And the next day my mom came to me and she's like, oh yeah, what happened? I was like, no, nothing. Nothing happened. I'm like, yeah, okay. And she's like, okay. And every time from that day, every time when I went out to go party, she looked at me and she said, yeah, but don't come back crying. And it's just these kind of things shaped me in such a way that I felt like crying is something bad, being sensitive is something bad, but it's not. Being sensitive is beautiful. It makes you empathetic. And also it's such a gift to feel things so deeply, what I know now. But yeah. So this whole glass child thing was a huge thing for me. I could like ramble on about that the whole time, but I think I will split it a little bit in the podcast today. I really wanted to talk about my sister and how siblings really shape you as well, to get you aware of maybe what your siblings also how they shaped you in some way. And if you didn't have enough space to evolve also from your siblings, then it's just hard for you to evolve your identity as a child and to know who you are. And then oftentimes you have identity crises in your 20s where you're like, I don't know who I am. I don't I don't feel like fit in. I'm so different. I'm so weird and then other people make you feel that way and you're like, "Oh, yeah, that's true. I'm weird. I don't fit in." It's not the truth. And still, if your body's telling you right now, "This is so true," it's not the truth. Somebody made you feel that way, but that doesn't mean it's true. I read a quote the other day. I also shared it on Instagram, which was, "Only because my sibling needed more doesn't mean I deserved less." And I get goosebumps. And that's the case. What you can do is like you can be aware of your beliefs now, and then okay, but also know that you deserve feeling chosen, you deserve feeling seen, and you're just that way you are right now because you've been conditioned to feel that way from a lot of your surroundings. But you are seen from me, firstly. You are chosen from everyone around you. So, especially friends, they choose you every day. They have free will. They can go. But your friends, they choose you every day to spend time with you or to chat with you. And they don't have to, but they choose you every day. And I think friendships is the most purest thing ever because you're chosen there. And also your parents choose you, but just they didn't make you feel that way. But I'm sure your parents, not for everyone, of course, but most of the parents, they tried their best and they choose you, but you just didn't feel like that. And let me know if you feel seen by this, what I said, if you resonate with it. And I'm very, very happy that you're here, that you're listening. And the more you confront yourself with those topics and with your own beliefs, the more you are healing. I always recommend doing exercises for this, like visualization exercises. I have some free ones on my platform, like on YouTube. You can do them, like just reconnecting with your inner child. Thank you so much for listening today, and you will hear from me again next Thursday. Bye.